What's up, everybody? My name is Jim Oswick, and today I want to talk about life purpose. It's a big subject. It's something that I've thought about a lot the last couple of years, especially after my big life change a few years ago, after my company, and it's something that applies to not just game developers, but a whole range of people. Any creative person, any person in any field, whether you have a job, whether you're an entrepreneur, starting your own business, whatever it is, your life's purpose, I think, is really, really important. And some people have religion to give them a life purpose. Some people don't have religion. Some people turn to things like, pouring themselves into their work or that kind of thing to find their purpose. But what I want to talk about today is specifically the things that have helped me kind of identify what makes me the happiest. And that's what I consider life's purpose. So I've talked a bit on the channel about my depression and stuff that I've went through, and I've realized that my life purpose, the things that I have to do in life, or the things that align with the things that make me feel the best, the things that make me really feel like only I can make an impact when I'm doing things that I feel like only I can do, or not necessarily only I can do, because everybody can make games, right? But only I can make games my way. So I feel like my life's purpose has to do with the alignment of the things that I'm good at and the things that I enjoy, right? There's a cross section there. They're not always the same, right? Because I happen to be good at making websites, but I fucking hate that. So let's not even go there. But I happen to be halfway decent. The same kind of knowledge applies to game development, right? And I happen to be good at it and I enjoy it. I guess being good at it is subjective, right? But beyond that, I feel like my presence as a YouTuber, as a person that shares his thoughts and opinions online, a person that tries to help other people, I feel like my purpose in life is the alignment of the things that I happen to be good at and the things that I enjoy. And for me, it happens to be a lot of content creation, a lot of thought-provoking material, a lot of sharing and knowledge, a lot of teaching. Not everybody's like that. Not everybody feels that way, but you have to try a bunch of stuff to discover kind of your life's purpose. Everybody has a unique gift and a superpower, right? Everybody. It doesn't matter what you are. You're good at something. You have a superpower in something. And sometimes, if you don't know what that is, if you're not sure what that is, or when you're going to find out about it, you got to try a bunch of stuff. That's how you discover what you're good at. I know I've always wanted to mess with computers from a young age, but I always taking stuff apart. I remember every time my parents threw out something like a VCR, I would get it out of the trash and open it up and see how things different worked. Didn't really fix anything. I kind of made everything worse, but I liked opening it up and see how it worked. And same thing with game development. When it came time to learn all that stuff, I liked tinkering. I liked messing around with stuff. And that's what I ended up doing, and that's how I got into games. And then marketing was a whole nother story, but I realized that one of the reasons I identified with marketing was because I liked having the ability to communicate effectively with somebody and convince them to take action. Because in my life, I grew up in kind of a chaotic household, and a lot of my early interactions with my parents or at school or whatever, they're not to say they were bad, but they were, I just didn't feel like people listened to me ever. I felt like a ghost. I felt invisible at school. And the only time I didn't feel invisible, in middle school, was when people were making fun of me. And my parents, I have an older sister and I have a younger brother. I feel like they got all the attention in growing up. And so I've always had this, I wouldn't say need for attention, but I enjoy it when I can make something or create something or build something and it makes people pay attention. It's like built into me intrinsically that I enjoy doing. And coincidentally, that's what I do on YouTube, right? I build things that add value to other people's lives, and they pay attention to that if it's useful to them. And I think it makes me, feel good in a way. And I think a lot of people kind of get that kind of enjoyment out of helping others or putting stuff out there. But in addition to that, not only do I enjoy it, but I happen to be good at it. And that's because I've trained a long time learning how to communicate. Like I said, I had a mentor that was a expert negotiator. He was amazing. Just sitting around him, just being around his personality allowed me to kind of communicate effectively. Having to argue with him when we started a company together, having to say, no, I think you're wrong. I think we should do this. But him being able to just run words into me like a train and just like do some verbal jujitsu and just like convince me otherwise always made me feel frustrated, because I was like, this dude can just out-talk me, right? Like, I don't know what he does. I know I'm right. I just can't explain it. So I had to like learn that, right? My sister, same thing. My sister and I had a lot of fights. I could never verbally win any argument ever. So I had this training, right? And all this stuff kind of led up to what helped me in marketing, what helped me start a YouTube channel, because I've had to articulate the things that I think about and the things that I say, not only with just those two instances, but also in marketing in general. That's what marketing is. It's figuring out a story and a message that you can deliver effectively to the right people to get them to act, right? Because if you don't deliver the right message to the right people, they're not going to act. You need both of those, the right message and the right people. And the messaging was really, really important. Right? There's so many times where you have people ready to buy, whether it's an indie game, whether it's fitness supplements or whatever it is, but you don't deliver the right message to them at the right time, and then they don't buy. So me having to go through all of this in my life has led up to now, where I create content to help inspire other people. The tagline for Game Dev Underground is help people build, finish, and launch better games. Because games have inspired me in a way. And I think games, content, and, the stuff that I do is all of a cross-section of everything that I've ever done in life that I've enjoyed and that makes a difference. And I really feel like I'm doing my life's work here. And a lot of people don't ever get to the point where they feel like they're doing their life's work. They get caught up doing the random odd thing for their job, right? They're working in their job and they're just trying to move up the ranks, right, one by one. And they don't ever stop to think, like, what's their purpose? What thing are they here to do? Like, what is their perfect work? What is their superpower that they're great at? I encourage you to find it if you haven't found it. Like, a lot of people call this your passion or your purpose in life. I don't know about those terms. You use whatever you want to use, like I said, depending on your beliefs and how all that intrinsically fits in with you. It's really going to depend how you look on it. But I think everybody has something that they're great at. And I think that cross sections with something that they enjoy. And if you don't know what that is, you have to try a bunch of stuff to get there. But I think everybody can get there, and you can end up doing things that you love, that you can make money with, that you can get up at every day and enjoy yourself, right? And it's not going to solve all your issues, right? Like, I've talked about depression. I may be making video games for a living and making content and having a huge community that is awesome, and we all get along, and I made a bunch of friends doing that, but that doesn't mean that I won't necessarily get depressed, right? Sometimes it can even make it worse in certain systems. But every day I feel like I have meaning. I feel like I have purpose. Even when I feel down, even when I feel depressed, even when I don't want to get out of bed, I still feel like I have purpose. And for a long time, I didn't feel that way. A long time, I did not feel like I had a reason to get up in the morning, a reason to do the things that I was doing. A lot of times it was just money. I got to pay the bills. And I got stuck in that loop over and over and over again. And there's nothing wrong with a job. There's nothing wrong with doing stuff specifically for money. But that can't be your end game, right? That's going to make you miserable long term. If you're 80 years old on your deathbed and you just worked for someone else your whole life and you didn't do what you were meant to do, it's not going to be good. Now, you can do what you're meant to do working for somebody else. That's totally cool too. If you feel like you need the structure and stuff of a job and all that stuff, that's fantastic. And you should absolutely do that. But make sure you're doing your life's work. Make sure you're doing the work that you were meant to do. Make sure you're doing the work that only you can do your way, right? Make sure you're doing the stuff that aligns with your superpower, because that, I think, is how you get a fulfilled life. And like I said, I'm still on this journey. I'm not trying to be any guru that knows everything and has everything figured out. I don't have all my shit figured out. I just know what I learn over time, and the more that I learn this, the more that I look into this, the more I see that aligning yourself with the things that you're good at and the things that make you the happiest is always the better path. I have opportunities coming at me from every direction, and they are financially lucrative opportunities, but they don't align with my core purpose. And so I've turned them down. For a long time, I couldn't turn those down. I had trouble turning those down. A lot of my old contacts from LA would call me up and say, "Hey, Tim, we need this. Hey, Tim, can you help with this? Can you build us this?" And I would get sucked in because it was financially lucrative, and then I would just feel miserable. I have found my life's purpose. And I know it sounds kind of weird, like, Tim, your life's purpose is to make YouTube videos and video games? Yeah, kind of. It's to help inspire other people to build, finish, and launch better games, and to create art and expression through a digital medium. Like, I want to inspire people. I want to invoke emotion. I want people to pay attention to the things that I put my emotion into. And all of that is kind of in the same package. It's not all one thing, right? Like, YouTube and game dev are completely separate. There's a bunch of other stuff outside of that. There's the business side of that. There's a bunch of different stuff. But by doing my life's work, everything is in alignment. They're not bumping heads against each other, right? Like, YouTube isn't fighting my game dev. My game dev is in alignment with my YouTube, and my YouTube helps shed light on my game dev. My game dev helps me make videos, right? They're in sync. So if you don't know what your purpose is, if you don't know what you're meant to do, if you don't know what your superpower is, you got to try a bunch of stuff. You got to see what it is that you're good at and what makes you the happiest. And you got to do that. And like I said, it doesn't matter if you work for somebody to do that. It doesn't matter if you start your own company. It doesn't matter if you do that, man. You just got to do that. And that's my message. That's it. That's what I got for you. So this was a heartfelt message. It's not a typical video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, leave me a thumbs up and a comment down below. Let me know what you think your purpose is and how you found it. I would love to hear from you about that. My name is Tim Roswick, and I will see you again tomorrow.